Soft skills can be learnt from books, during conversations, and in teams. We all need them, so how can you develop them? Let's explore. We are now firmly into week 2 of 2026, and I want to ask you, how are your New Year's resolutions going? Did you organize some? Have you started to drill down into them? Are you already losing faith in them in this second week of January? So today I'd like to think about some developmental frameworks that you can use to think about your own progress and how you can make these work for yourself. And some of this I'm learning myself as I go, and that's what I want to share with you today. So if you haven't already thought about your soft skills for 2026, here's the link to the book that I would encourage you to look at. And I'm hoping to meet with one of the researchers from the book this month. And so maybe we can even bring some special insights through an interview later this month. So the first developmental framework I'd like you to think about is actually Bloom's taxonomy. So if you're in adult learning or in any kind of pedagogy, you may have heard of this term Bloom's. And you see here on screen, it goes through a series of steps. So when you think about studying anything, how often, or developing yourself, how often does it start with remembering what we need? So in fact, in education, this is about recalling facts and figures, but we have to move towards understanding to really integrate that. And that's often where people stop. They think, oh, I've learned that, I know that, I can regurgitate that in an exam, but is that enough? Usually not. We need to think about the last levels of the Bloom's taxonomy here. Excuse me, I'm still a little bit sick. So in other words, thinking about applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. There's that top level. Can you produce new or original work based on what you are developing? So think about those soft skills. You remember to implement them. You understand the rubric that I've given through that book. You want to start to apply these in your everyday lives. And maybe you're picking moments where you can do this. Fantastic. But are you making progress? Can you analyze your own success? So if you are improving your communication, are you recording perhaps a presentation that you give at university or in your workplace? Can you even just audio record on the side for yourself? How do you analyze that? Are you listening for ums and ahs? Are you listening for energizing sentences and phrases that you can, use to inspire your audience? Are you thinking about the kinds of emotions that you're sharing when you are communicating? You need to evaluate this. And this is where we need to spend time reflecting, maybe using others in our network as well. If you've got a coach, someone like me, that can help you analyze step by step what you're doing. And then finally, in your own development, how are you creating this to be your own? That's really what I want you to think about. So we go much more beyond just thinking about, oh, I understand the concept. Yes, I'm applying it, because chances are you probably aren't. So I want you to think about what you can do and how you could apply Bloom's to your own life. And I just gave you that example with the soft skill of communication. And maybe there are other soft skills that you're also hoping to explore. So we go from the purely intellectual, the awareness, into the practical, which the practice of improving your soft skills, the practice of development. This year, my goal is to improve my teaching practice as a lecturer at Hochschule Burgenland. So I really want to make sure that I'm investing time, analyzing, evaluating, and then, of course, creating new resources, new ideas, new forms or methods. I'm applying these things that I'm learning into my own practice as a lecturer. So I want you to really encourage you to do the same thing. Another framework that I talked about in my article this week, so if you've read that, thank you so much. And if you haven't, go back and have a read of that article where you can see a little bit more about what I'm talking about. But I'm really focused on how can we gain awareness, gain practice, and where can we put in those practice moments to gain mastery. It's all about actually becoming much more unconsciously competent at what we're doing. And we have to work through all 4 stages of that learning process, you might say, a whole nother developmental idea there, those 4 stages of learning. And so when we've gained mastery, things feel natural. We've establish this into our identity. And this is what a developmental framework structure will do for you. So you need to practice in small steps, as it says that the smallest habits possible, the smallest steps possible that will give you leverage and help this to create through repetition, this to be your own, this to be something that you're used to doing. When you walk into a room, smile and greet people. If you're a leader coming to a meeting, ask a check-in question every time you meet someone to engage with them. Remember, for instance, that your emotions are contagious. And so just jogging yourself, what am I sharing right now with the world? This will help you to synthesize. This is one of my keywords from my article. I'm all about synthesizing the old with the new. So learn something like Bloom's taxonomy and apply it, synthesize it with what you're doing already in your life as a person. And so it's really about how can we start to shift the identity that we have towards where we want to go. So if your New Year's resolutions really have this kind of identity focus, then break it down into those small steps. Think about how you can start to engage with others and invite others to participate in your development. Get yourself a coach, someone like myself or someone on LinkedIn that you might find and resonate with that can really help guide you from the side, that will give you the push that you need at times when your motivation is lacking. But use these developmental structures as well to really enhance your own path and to give you that feeling of, I know where I'm going. Because when the brain knows where it's going, it's much more likely to find that motivation and remain optimistic. So I wish you a wonderful week, and I look forward to seeing you soon.